Alrighty, good afternoon, well, morning now, YouTube. This is Gene Zero here, back with another quick movie review. And it's funny because I finally realized on the last Fast and the Furious review what I failed to mention, um, or what I wanted to say in the closing statement. It always happens when I cut the camera. So, almost in all the movies, there's at least one or two cars I really, really like. And for the first movie, it was Brian's green Eclipse, Mitsubishi. I probably butchered it anyway. Green Eclipse. I want to say it was a '96 or '97. I could be wrong. Car enthusiasts, of course, you're gonna correct me in the comments. And of course, Dominic's Charger. From the first movie, those are the only two cars I really liked. For this one, for Too Fast and Furious, the one we're gonna talk about today, the only car I really liked was Brian's Skyline, and that's his identity car for like most of the series. Even though in this one he doesn't drive it that much. I was a little bit iffy on the Evo, that the lime green Evo that he drove in this movie, and at the time it was very rare to get that particular one he had. I want to say that was a 2002, or it could have been 2003. They usually state that the Japanese market, they kind of water down and what they give us with their import cars. But pretty much the story for this one, it takes place in Miami. Majority of the cast, like 80% of the cast, is like brand new characters. Brian, yeah, Paul Walker's character is the only one that really returns, and Tom Barry's character from the first one, the FBI agent that he ends up working with again in this one, but more, I wouldn't call it an informant, but of course, they knew who he was from, allegedly him letting go Dominic Toretto's character in the first movie. And there's even a short film called Turbo Prelude that glues both of the movies, together. I still personally argue that, they still could have made a movie even with the original, with those cut scenes. I think I even talked about in the first one. There's an alternate ending where Brian just goes back, to the Toretto house to make it, to make up amends for what he did. It ended a little bit better on a high note, but some people stated that the series would have ended right there if they would have went with that ending. But I call bullshit, because I still argue that how did the police even know what he did, and unless it was a witness there. But I think I hit all those points in that movie. So this one's a little bit of a remix of the first one, except Brian's much more skilled. He's winning a lot of races. What I noticed in most of those movies, when Vin Diesel's character is there, he doesn't. He's the runner up. But of course, Tyrese is in this. Ludacris. I can't remember the chick that plays Suki. But she has a little bit more acting. Like her acting resume went up a little bit right after this movie. Um, who else is in this? The bad guy. He was in Higher Learning. He was at Skinhead. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Well, you guys will probably tell me. I'm trying to think of the chick's name now. Eva Mendes is in this. There are a lot of actors and actresses that are in this film that you wouldn't really per se like. Michael Ealy, who was in Barbershop, and he did another movie with Paul Walker, which was Takers. I can't remember the guy's name who was Orange Julius, but a lot of these actors are gonna be tagged in the description box, or of course you're just gonna tell me who they are. But this one, low key, they were trying to make it like a origin story for like Brian, Paul Walker's character, and I wish I went deeper into it, because I think around like the eighth film, or it could have been the ninth one, where it showed like Toretto and his crew being young. You kind of want to see that kind of Fast and Furious movie. But overall, like I'm a little bit iffy on this film. Like I stated before, a lot of my street racing buddies, they really didn't like the second one that much. Before the third one that came out, they liked the first one a lot better. And then the third one, critics didn't like the third one, but my street racing buddies who do race, they do love the third one because they knew exactly what drifting was before the film had even popularized it. Um, you know, John Singleton had directed this, two pioneers in this film, John and Paul, who are no longer with us, of course. But yeah, he stated that yeah, he was a little bit peeved. He didn't come up with this idea because he's done, he had his street racing experiences as well, like growing up in the hood. And the thing is, I think another thing I didn't touch on, this is a hobby or a sport that like every single race can get behind. Everyone has their lovable car. This is like the one time in LA or hell, even in Miami or wherever you're from, where if you had this kind of hobby, it can kind of unite everybody. It's a universal thing. And, I'm glad with this one, with the drag races, they did change that up. They're not going in a straight line anymore. They're doing like how it is in video games. Like even John Singleton referenced video games in the audio commentary. I think Gran Turismo and Need for Speed, the most. And, give him a lot of credit, for doing different, avenues within his film, even action films. And going back also, this is also a little bit of a nostalgic thread for me as well, because both of these movies that came out like right when I got into middle school, especially with the third one. And then with this second one, it, like I said, right after I saw the first one, I really had to go and look up a classic nostalgic stuff like in the early 2000s. And even with the third movie, that trend still stayed there. When we get to the third one, I'm gonna talk about that as well. So another good thing about this movie, it opened me a lot more to Latin and Tejano or reggaeton music. And also that's a staple for what happens with the rest of the series. You don't really hear that much of rock music anymore. It's more of hip hop and Latin, and I'm kind of glad they had did that. And of course, Japanese rap when we get to Tokyo Drift. Man, it really smells in here. Yeah. Hopefully, it is not no carbon monoxide that's going on, because I just tried to kill a fly and I was using the air duster, and now my tongue in the room smells like hella funny. The fucking alarm had went off and everything, but it's just me getting off track. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this movie. Again, we can talk more about it in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next review. Peace.